Welcome back to Flockit Figures, where today I'm going to be doing another WWF Hasbro figure unboxing, this one specifically looking at Series 3 releases. So as you can see, the only Series 3 figure I have at the moment in my loose figure collection is Greg the Hammer Valentine, but I do have him twice. As I explained in a previous unboxing video, I was looking for a Greg Valentine, put in a couple of bids, put in some best offers, and ended up winning two. Really cheap figure to pick up, so I wasn't too bothered. Unboxed this one in a previous video, and I've left this guy on card because I figured, what's the point? Just something up to them. So kept him on card. He wasn't a nicer card anyway, I think. Yeah, I think he wasn't a nicer card. But yeah, so I'm going to expand on that today. I've got a few more guys from the same series that Greg was in to add to my collection. So without any further ado, let's get cracking. So first one I've got is this man right here. This is Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. He's on an Italian card. Mr. Perfect, my memories of him are, I think he was slightly before my time in the WWF. I think, from what I understand now, he was a pretty big deal. He was well respected. I think he was one of the kind of more prestigious intercontinental champions. But my significant memories of Mr. Perfect through watching WWF are when he was a kind of commentator and a bit of a, I don't think he was a manager, but he was like a valet, a sidekick, a bodyguard type thing. He knocked about with Ric Flair for a while, I seem to remember. But I definitely remember him as a commentator as well, as quite a good commentator actually, quite an entertaining commentator. Yeah, I don't recall too much about like this kind of image of him here as a wrestler. But obviously he was, and he was pretty highly regarded, I believe. Comes from a kind of long line of wrestlers. I think, is it Larry the Axe is his dad, and his son actually is Curtis Axel. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. As well. So yeah, he's a decent figure. He's on an Italian card. He's on not a bad card actually. He's got a couple of creases, a couple of little scuffs around the outside. But actually no, it's kind of bent a little bit. It's not that good actually now that I look at it like that. Bubble's quite good though. Bubble's fully sealed, no cracks, no dents, no splits or anything like that. Yeah, so let's get him opened. So here he is. Here's Mr. Perfect. Yeah, this is a move. His move. Oh, it's really stiff though. His joints are really stiff. His move. I kind of talked about this with Scott Steiner when I opened up my Scott Steiner figure. This one, I don't think I was doing it right when I had them as toys. And I think I've kind of found out in later life that there was more to this move. I think I always just thought this was a kind of hammer fist. You know, his arm comes down kind of thing, and maybe you had one guy in a headlock and you're punching another guy in the head. But I think what you're meant to do is that, you know, you're meant to like put somebody's head in there, wind his arm up, and then he like suplexes him over essentially. I think that's what it's meant to be. Obviously this is on an Italian card, but if you look at the card, so I don't know what that says. If you look at the card, so there's a dent like right down the middle, a crease right in the middle. But he has got another wrestler in his in a headlock, and the kind of lines, the movement lines are making him go sort of front to back. So I think that's what you're meant to do with him. But I didn't realise that. I didn't realise that as a kid, that this is what you were meant to do. I think had I known that, they would have been so much more fun. I would have done that lots and lots. I'd be smashing guys off right, left and centre off that ring. But yeah, this is a good figure. Again, I mean, it looks like him. Looks like Mr. Perfect. I don't think Mr. Perfect was quite this shredded. I don't think he ever had, you know, visible 8-pack through his singlet or anything like that. He was obviously a big guy, a buff guy, but I don't think he was ever quite that shredded. I'm wondering if it's the same body as Scott Steiner, because that would be an appropriate Scott Steiner body, but no for Mr. Perfect. But yeah, so he's pretty cool. Memories of this guy, I don't know if I had him or not. I mean, I remember him. I remember him being about. I remember him being on the pegs, if you like, in the shops. I remember him being there when I was playing with my friends, when we all had our wrestlers together. But I don't know if I had. I think I might have had the other Mr. Perfect. There's a repaint that comes out later in the series, the Red Car series. I think it's just the exact same figure, but it's a blue singlet rather than a yellow singlet. Yeah, I think I might prefer this one though. I think that's quite like that. He's in really nice shape. Obviously, that's a risk when you're opening up cards and bubbles that are beat up and banged up, that there might be some scuffs and scrapes. But no, he's in good condition. He's looking really, really shiny, really, really clean. His joints, as I already said, are really stiff, so that's a good sign. Happy with Mr. Perfect. Really glad to add him to the collection. So, move him across a little bit. You can come forward as well, Greg. Yeah, so next one. This one I have got really strong memories of. So this one is the Texas Tornado. So I bought this one and the next one I'm going to bring out as well from the same seller, who he was selling out a stack of foreign cards all in one go, and I just bought a lot. So it worked out really, really cheap. It worked out, I don't just want to pull numbers out of the air, but not a huge amount per figure. Like certainly on a figure I was comfortable with. But when the cards arrived, all of them, I mean, they all arrived in like plastic sleeves, like, you know, dust jacket kind of things, and all the cards, okay, they're foreign cards, they're French cards, but they're a nice card. He was keeping them, he was looking after these, so I kind of felt a bit guilty that I bought them to open them up. And I'm sure somebody in the comments will have a go at me for opening them up anyway in this kind of condition, but actually now I see it, there is a dent in the bubble a little bit, but that's the only thing wrong with this guy. So Texas Tornado, I remember when this came out, I thought I need this figure because I'm not entirely sure. I need to go back and check the listings, the sort of checklist, sorry, to see who came out first, him or Tatanka. But there was only him and Tatanka, I believe, that had this kind of double arm clothesline thing. We'd seen the clothesline move before, the clothesline move that Greg's got here. We'd seen it on Macho King or Macho Man. Who else had it? Demolition Crush, who came out before that. He had it as well. There may have been another one or two, but we'd seen the clothesline move. So was Big Boss Man in this series? I forget. Anyway, so there was a few. There was a few that were the single arm clothesline. This Greg Valentine move here, where he's pulling at his arm. You can extend it or make it like forward facing fist, but you know, essentially that's what was known as the clothesline amongst me and my friends. But when this guy came out and he had the 2-arm clothesline, I was just like blown away. I thought, wow, I need this guy. I need to pick this figure up. And I definitely did. I definitely had him. I may even have had multiples of him, because I seem to remember having one that was broken. It was knackered. It didn't work. So I might have got him 2 or 3 times in my childhood. But yeah, really cool figure. Really, really cool wrestler, actually. But looking forward to opening this guy up. So here we go. Here he is. And again, really nice shape. Now, I thought, I remember when I had him, playing with him just like it was double clothesline. So you do the old comeback move. You get thrown against the ropes when there was 2-on-1 in the ring, and he'd come back the other way and he'd clothesline 2 guys over. That was how I used them all the time. And I kind of just assumed it was the same as Greg, but you could do it on either side. But I think there's more to it than that. Just like Mr. Perfect. I think you're meant to kind of twist him all the way around, I think. And then he sort of, so he spins all the way back and just kind of takes out everybody. So it's almost like Go Gadget arms, you know, like Inspector Gadget. Go Gadget arms, just wipe out everybody. Which is a classic move in a nightclub dance floor on a Friday night in Falkirk. But yeah, so Really, really cool figure, man. Really like this guy, and he was a top guy for me. Like he was a guy that I'd be pushing him all the time. He was always fighting for titles. Really liked the Texas Tornado. I liked him in real life. Like I liked him as a wrestler as well. I thought he was really cool. And when I found out in later life that Kerry Von Erich, I mean, I didn't know anything about. I think I knew his name was Kerry Von Erich. I knew that, but I didn't know anything about the legacy of the Von Erichs. I didn't know. I found that out much later on. You know, the Von Erichs in Texas were huge. You know, in the Texas sort of the territory days back when there was like regional wrestling, they were huge. They were massive. You know, there was a family of them. And when I found out, I mean, I must have been, a grown up. I must have been sort of over 18 at least when I found this out. But when I found out that he'd lost a foot in a motorcycle accident, and most of my memories of him, if not all of my memories of him, as a wrestler, he was wearing a prosthetic foot when he was doing that. I was blown away when I found that out, because he was a top guy. He wasn't like a jobber or a chump or anything. He was a guy that you were excited to see. And having this guy as a figure like that was a big deal for me back then. So really surprised to find out that he was actually wrestling with a prosthetic leg, prosthetic foot. Sorry, at one point he lost it I think he injured it badly in a motorcycle accident, and then he had it amputated by the surgeons just to kind of save the rest of his leg. But and obviously after that, tragically killed himself. But this guy, I wouldn't say he was one of my heroes growing up, but he was certainly one of my favourites. He was one of my favourites. And it's a really cool figure. It's one of, again, I'd be getting into like maybe exaggeration territory, but if I was doing top tens, maybe not top fives, but top tens for Hasbro's, I think Texas Tornado would be up there, just because I just remember him being on the shelf, being on the pegs, and thinking, what is that double arm clothesline? Need to have that, and thinking, if I get £1.50 or whatever it is I get for pocket money, how many weeks will it take me up to save up $3.99 to buy a Texas Tornado figure? So yeah, he's really cool, really cool. He's got his little his tassels around his boots. I mean, that's completely accurate to how he looked as well. Really cool figure, really cool move, really cool guy. So delighted to have him. So next one up, last one. As I say, got this guy, the Birdman Coco. Beware. Got this from the same seller, and I had almost given up on them because I was, obviously I'm taking Hasbro's off a card, and I understand that they are losing value as I'm doing that, regardless of what kind of cards are taking them off. But I have a limit. I don't want to be taking off figures that are costing me hundreds of pounds. I'm not that silly. And I thought I'd be able to pick up a Coco on a foreign card, on a banged up card. But Coco Beware is one of the guys that has seen a real recent spike. Like, he's gone up through the roof. And even foreign cards and cards that are in less favourable condition were going for, pushing three figures. And I'd been watching a few online, I'd been chasing a few, I'd made inquiries about a couple. Everyone just wanted too much, and I thought, no, I don't think I'm going to get a Coco. But as I say, then I saw this guy selling a bundle all on foreign, I think they were all on French cards, and Coco was one of them. So, and when it worked out, it was like a very reasonable amount per figure that I ended up paying. So I was delighted. But again, when he arrived, he was in a dust jacket. He was in a wallet, and it's in great shape. The card's in great shape. Bubble's in great shape. I don't see any little hidden flaws or anything. No, I think it's really good. Now, I don't know what this would be. I'm pretty positive I'd get more than I paid for it if I was to relist it and sell it. But as I've said before, I don't care. I don't really care about that. I mean, if I invest in something, if I've like spent some money to buy a more desirable or better condition figure, and they maybe got it graded or something, then yeah, I would look after it, I'd take care of it. But when you pick something like this up for pretty cheap, for a pretty reasonable price, I don't care what it's worth to resell, because I don't take any pleasure in selling this on for profit. I might could maybe even make £50 or whatever profit on it, but so what? You know, that's a tank of petrol that's gone in a few days. Whereas if I take this guy off the card, I've got him on my shelf forever. I can always kind of look back, can always kind of think of when I had him as a figure back in my youth. So yeah, let's get him off the card. Here we go. Coco obviously comes with Frankie. Frankie the parrot. So that's the big thing with Coco as well, is that I've seen a few Coco Bewares that were sort of more reasonably priced, single loose figures, sorry, but no Frankie. And I thought, well, even if I could pick up a good one that was, that was in good condition, I'd want Frankie. I wouldn't want to just have Coco on his own. I'd need to have him with his little mate there. But yeah, this is a cool figure. This I had him. I think most people did, because he just stood out when you went to the shop shopping for Hasbro's, which was often the way of it. You would go with your pocket money, save up a few weeks pocket money, and then think, right, I'm going to go buy a Hasbro. Or if it was birthday or Christmas money that you had, take it down to the shops to buy Hasbro's. You would be forced with the choice a lot of times. You know, who do I want to buy? They want to buy Brutus Beefcake, they want to buy Randy Savage, and obviously Texas Tornado stood out to me because it was the first time I'd ever seen this move. But Coco Beware stood out immediately because of his colours, because he's so vibrant. He's got the kind of luminous yellow and blue, which sort of match Frankie. I mean, Frankie himself, that's a novelty that any WWF Hasbro with an accessory, I think, is great. I love that some of them have got accessories, but he's got to be up there as one of the best accessories, Frankie the Parrot. Coco is obviously a jumper. Everyone kind of knows by now how I feel about the jumpers. But that, again, that's probably in fitting with his character, even though, as you can tell by his body type, he's a big lad. You know, he wasn't a Jimmy Snooker. He wasn't like shredded or ripped. But he was in that tag team with Owen Hart, called High Energy, I think they were called, and they used to jump and bounce off the ropes all the time. So you know, being a jumper, it's not the worst move to give to Coco. I would have preferred it if he'd had a different. I mean, a move like like Rick Martel or Randy Savage won, or Marty Jannetty, or the Shawn Michaels figures had, like that I think is that's the move I like best. And if Coco had that, he would probably be a better figure. But he's not. He's certainly not a bad figure. He's a really cool figure. And I believe this body might have been reused after that. I think this might be the body that Repo Man had, and I think maybe even the Head Shrinkers as well might have had this body. I'm not 100%, but I think this kind of flabby muffin top is definitely been issued again for other wrestlers. The not very flattering mold for Coco, but yeah, probably an appropriate one for him. Yeah, looking at that. But oh man, awesome. I had given up. Like I said, I'd given up having Coco, and I was disappointed at that because I really did want one. And I looked a couple of times thinking, oh, should I just buy £100 Coco and just take him off the card just to have him in my collection? But you know, common sense kicked in and said you cannot spend that much to take somebody off the card. So I'd given up. I thought I'm not going to get one. I'm going to be priced out the market for this. So I was thrilled. I was delighted when what transpired. And actually, this is quickly stacking up to be one of my favourite videos, because there's two guys there. And I mean, Mr. Perfect as well. I like Perfect. Good memories of Perfect, but Texas Tornado and Coco Beware, man, they are quality figures. They're great figures. I'm really glad to have them again, and really glad to have them in such good shape. Yeah, that's awesome. So delighted. And as you can see, my my Series 3 collection is now starting to expand a little bit. So we're getting there. Getting more and more of the Hasbro ticked off. As you can probably guess, I'm getting to the stage now with them. When I started doing this, you know, picking up a Brutus Beefcake one, picking up a Greg Valentine, that was no sweat at all. You know, I was managing to get these guys easy for not much money. As it's gone on, with one or two. I've got some bargains. I've picked up a couple of real bargains. I mean, Coco and Texas Tornado, I'd put them in that bracket. They were bargains. As it's gone on, it's getting tougher and tougher, and I've had to really consider I've kind of mentioned it in previous videos. I thought within my own head, if I can spend between £20 and £40 on a figure, I'm happy with that. I think I can justify that as being figures you're taking off cards. I broke that for Andre the Giant, but I figured that's the only way you're going to get Andre the Giant. I marginally broke it for Marty Jannetty, but I then, as I've said in the blue card video, I got a refund on Jannetty because he came really banged up, posted an envelope. What's that about? So I got a full refund. Sorry, on Jannetty. So he was free essentially. So I've been kind of pushing my luck in some areas, but it is getting to the stage now where most of the guys that I'm going to get within that kind of price range, there's maybe a handful of others that it's still worth out there pursuing. Obviously, one of the big issues about it is when you get past these kind of, as you can see in Greg Valentine's card, the kind of red and blue background, when you get onto the coloured series, they only came out in English language. So the yellow cards, the red cards, the purple cards, the blue cards, the green cards, they only came out in English language. So there's no cheaper version, French or Spanish equivalents to pick up with them for half the price or whatever. They only exist in English cards. So your only hope is to get one that's completely banged up. But you don't see that many of them out there. So it's getting harder and harder to find carded Hasbros to unbox, but I'm going to persist. I'm going to keep pursuing the ones that I haven't got. Hopefully, a bargain will come out the woodwork. A couple have already, and I've got a video coming up soon, with some unbelievable finds. Guys that I kind of thought, I'm not going to get there. I didn't think it was even worth looking for. I'll make that my next video actually. There's a couple of guys I thought weren't even worth looking for because they were just going to be far too expensive to get in any condition, and I'm found a couple of steals and a couple of absolute bargains, so they'll be coming off the card in a future video. So anyway, before I start giving stuff away and laying down some spoilers, we'll leave it at that. So if you want to check out the rest of the videos coming up, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications. Please comment, like, share. If you want me to check out your YouTube, your social media, leave a link in the comments even, because I'm always keen to do that. Always like to see what other people are doing with their Hasbros and their collection. So yeah, stay safe. We'll speak soon.